What is going on to all my movie lovers out there? Elliot back with another In the Car review, and we are giving you all my pre-thoughts before seeing my first film in theaters in 2026, and that is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. If you all have been following my content, my reviews in the past year or so, y'all know how much I love 28 Years Later. I'm a big fan of this franchise in general, but I love the last film. Rewatched it last night. Loved it even more. It made my top 10 movies of last year, so I am beyond excited for this sequel. You got Danny Boyle producing it. You got Alex Garland writing it. You have, Jack O'Connell. We got Alfie Williams, Ralph Fiennes, some of the Jimmy's cult. I'm all excited for all that stuff. The only thing that makes me slightly nervous is the director, Nia DaCosta. Now, I like Nia. I've been following her since it was In the Woods or just Woods in general. Her directorial debut in 2018, I want to say. Really solid debut. Wasn't the biggest fan of Candyman. I don't blame her with the Marvels. That was made by committee. And then I didn't see Hedda, but I heard mixed things on that. But she's the only wild card for me because I know she has it in her, but it's just like, the script of Alex Garland, Nia DaCosta's style, his abilities, does that match well? I hope so. I know the early buzz of this has been really well. A lot of people are saying this is better than the last one. So we're going to find out in less than 15 minutes. I'm going to come back, give you all my spoiler-free review of this film, let you all know if I liked it, if I didn't like it, what worked, what didn't work. Is it better than the last one? Is it one of the best ones in the franchise? Is it one of the worst ones in the franchise? We're going to find out when I come back. In the meantime, while you're waiting for me, because it'll be in a split of a second, like, share, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and I'll see you all on the other side. Well, I will be sharing my review of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. And we are back, and Nia DaCosta, I owe you a damn apology. It is so nice to meet you. It is so nice to see what you can bring to the table when you're given the opportunity to show what you have. We're talking about 28 Years Later, Bone Temple. I'm going to say it now. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, ladies and gentlemen. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Now, I'm going to put this out there. I think 28 Years Later is a more structurally, narratively, emotionally stronger narrative in the film, and creatively with Danny Boyle's, editing style and chaoticness. Like, that's hard to emulate. But I'm glad that Nia didn't try to copy and paste. I'm glad that she didn't. There's a tonal shift. There is a creative input that she has, and I'm glad she didn't try to copy what Danny Boyle did, because that's very hard to do. Danny Boyle is a one for one in my eyes. But let's get into it, man. This is my non-spoiler review of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. And as you all can see, I had a good time with this movie. Now, just following right up, and before we get into it, thank you all for watching this video. Like, share, comment, consider subscribing. This is 2026. We're heading to 100,000 subscribers, and we got so many great things to talk about, and I hope you all join me on this journey. Let's start off with the positives. I want to go back to Nia DaCosta. As I talked about before I went in there, I seen her directorial debut, thought it was a solid directorial debut. Wasn't the biggest fan of Candyman. There's moments in that film, but collectively speaking, looking at it from beginning to middle and end, it just didn't work for me. And then again, like I mentioned, the Marvels, there's moments that I think she's able to be creative and have a little bit of a voice, but all in all, it's just a Marvel produced, she was just tacked onto the Marvel machine. And like I mentioned, I haven't seen Hedda, but this to me tells me a lot about Nia. Number one, she is very innovative. Number two, she's not afraid to take risk. This movie, literally, if you know Samson, is balls to the wall, insane, man. Like, this film, and Nia does not want to be the last one. Of course, it's picking up the narrative. We're picking up literally moments after the last film, like literally moments. And the way that she takes this film and the themes that we're exploring, again, if the last film was Spike's coming of age and his father and son and going on this passage together, coming back to save his mom and being the man that he doesn't think his dad was, and Jamie, and all that emotional stuff that we pulled there, this was like going off the last 5 minutes of the last film, crazy, evil, sadistic, wild, in-your-face, chaotic in all the best ways possible. And I thought Nia just had such a great grip, and I talk about this a lot on this channel, tone. I find a lot of directors and writers have a bad time, or let's say bad time, but they don't know where their tone their film is. They're trying to be this, or trying to be that, but they never, it's too little of everything they're trying to do. This film has some comedic beats that I wasn't anticipating, very self-aware of itself at times. I can't stress enough, this might be one of the more brutal films in the franchise. Like, there are some scenes that are very disturbing, and there are moments where, again, pulling on the heartstrings and developing our characters and talking about, there's a lot of Frankenstein in this movie about the empathy of monsters. Do you give up on evil? And not super evil, that we'll talk about here with Jack O'Connell's performance as Jimmy, but like the idea of the infected. Is there still something to explore there? Do you give up on yourself? Do you give up on humanity? And the themes that this film is tackling there was so intriguing, and I thought Nia had the perfect amount of what she wanted to do with each thing they were exploring in this film. Now, not all of it's perfect as far as did it hit all the beats that they were trying to accomplish. No, but for the most part it did. And I want to give, like I said, Nia, great job. I am very, very impressed by her, and I'm really excited to see her hopefully get more opportunities to speak her voice and to give films her sensibilities and give films her flair and her direction, because I think she's a great director after seeing this. But moving on to performances. Ralph Fiennes doesn't need a introduction or a filmography replay. You all know who he is. He knows who he is. He's one of the greatest of his generation. I don't know if he's ever had more fun in his life in a role. Like, he is doing something where he is swinging for it, man. Like, Dr. Kelson in this film we're exploring his character a little bit deeper in this film in regards to what he is. He's a healer. He's a doctor. He's trying to figure out this virus and understand this virus and see if there's a cure. But also, he's developing a relationship with Samson. This isn't a spoiler. This was something that was established in last film. And what we see him do in this film and who he interacts with in this film was nothing short of entertaining from beginning to end with his character. Ralph Fiennes is immaculate in his role. And he has, when I say performance, I'm not talking about the acting. I'm literally talking about a performance with a musical number that was incredibly entertaining. Speaking to Samson, I can't think of the actor's name at the moment. He was in the last one. Everyone made fun of a particular body part of his, which does make a cameo or a supporting role in this movie, if you will. But they do something with Samson that made me really appreciate this film because, as a horror fan, I've seen every subgenre within the zombie genre, right? And they're doing something with this one that explores the idea of, is there something there in regards to the infected, to the monster? And I really enjoyed that performance from Samson. I don't want to give too much into it because, I don't want to spoil anything, but I really enjoyed what they did with Samson with this one. And again, the Frankenstein of it all between Dr. Kelson and Samson was a really good narrative. And it had some emotional beats that I wasn't anticipating. So kudos to Samson. Kudos to the doctor, Ralph Fiennes. Spike, I will admit, is taking a step back. If he was the star, obviously the last film was his growth, his development, his coming-of-age story. I wouldn't say he's taking a step back in growth, but the film isn't as focused on Spike, but I still think Alfie is really good in the role, taking what he learned in the last one and then applying it to this film, but being just absolutely scared to the bone of the Jimmies. And I thought that Alfie and Spike's, importance to this movie worked for me. Erin Kellyman, I believe is her name. We've seen her in many things. Solo was the first time I saw her. She was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Really good actress. Thoroughly enjoyed her performance in this film, and her and Spike's relationship was very interesting. Who else stood out? Are you kidding me? Let me talk about the MVP of this film. An actor by the name of Jack O'Connell. Coming off of what he did with Sinners, jumping into this role, this might be my favorite. I know we're early in the year, but I if I had a top 5, I would imagine he's going to be on that list. Jimmy Crystal, Jack O'Connell as Jimmy is electric. He is so bad to the motherfucking bone. He's evil. He's sadistic. His psychosis, his thought process. If you remember what we saw of Jimmy in the first film, the cold opening that film, Father, why have you forsaken me? And his father being, a priest and all the stuff that happened in that film and carrying that into him and his manhood, his Teletubby, his loss of his innocence in that first film, and seeing what the world has made him and what he's made himself in his Jimmy cult, his 7 hands, his 7 fingers. Sensational performance. And when Jimmy and the doctor share scenes, some great tennis match or ping pong match there, man. The back and forth between them was sensational, man. But the MVP for me was Jack as Jimmy. An amazing performance. Again, I talked about some of the themes, but I can't stress enough this idea of, is there something there in the depths of evil? Is there something there in the eyes of the darkness? Is there humanity that remains in this cold, dark, dead world? I really enjoyed that narrative. I enjoyed this idea of belief. I enjoyed this idea of belief fueled by fear. It's just so much that this film is doing narratively from a thematical standpoint that I thoroughly enjoyed. If I were to get into my critiques, like I mentioned, the lack of Danny Boyle creatively is sorely missed. Nia's doing her thing, the cinematographer's doing their thing, but it's not as juicy. It's not as exciting as far as creatively, right? With the iPhones and the way that the camera moves and the way that the score plays into the narrative, like that stuff is kind of absent for me. It does take a little bit for the film to find its footing to really get into the minutiae and get into the rhythm of the narrative. Like the first scene is it catches you, but then it settles into itself and then it picks itself back up. So I will say it took a moment for me to really invest and really get hooked into the story that was going on here. Other than that, man, there was no performance. Some of the Jimmies, the supporting Jimmies, performances were okay, nothing too substantial that took me out, but they weren't they weren't operating on the same level as some of our other characters. But that's just like a nitpick thing. But I can't stress enough, man. I love how ballsy this film is, the swings that it takes, the explorations that it explores, the continuation of this world. And then I'll just say this, there is the last 10 minutes of the film gets me super excited to see. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to be on that ride because I'm having a good time so far, and I love this franchise. So if you are a fan of this franchise, I think you will. It's going to be hard not to like it. I'm not going to say everyone's going to love it. I think the last one is the best one, and I'll probably rank them in the coming days. But all in all, 28 years later, The Bone Temple is a really, really solid film. I'm going to give this, I'm at like a 3.8, but I'm just going to give it that 4. I'm going to give it that 4, which in my category is a great film. And nothing in this film that takes me out of it. So yeah, I'm at a 4 out of 5 with Bone Temple. Again, I think the last one's better, but this is a great sequel, and it sets up something I'm excited to see. So there you have it, y'all, my spoiler-free review. I don't think it's going to bring any newcomers to the franchise. I do think that people that didn't like the last one will get more out of this one, but it will be hard to sell someone like coming into this for the first time. That's just it's hard to come into a middle of a franchise with any movie. But either way, I had a good time. I'm excited to see it again. I'm going to think it over, and you're going to probably see some type of deep dive that I'm going to do for this like I did with the first one as far as talking about the ending and different themes and, keep an eye out for that. But I'm happy, man. It's the early parts of the year, and I tell you what, this time last year, Wolfman is what I saw, and I did not like that film. And there was a couple other some slashers, the I Heart or Love. There was some trash last year. This is not that. This is a banger for this time of the year. So there you have it, y'all. Let me know what you all thought of the film once you've seen it. Let me know what worked, what didn't work, what stood out to you, who's your favorite character, what were some things that just didn't click for you, and how would you rank them? Again, I'll make a ranking in the coming days, but how would you rank these movies from 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years, and then Bone Temple? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all. Again, it's early in the year, but I have some exciting things in the works. I have some goals in mind, so if you guys want to help me accomplish those goals, share, leave your thoughts in the comments. That helps the algorithm. And consider sticking around by subscribing. We got a lot of things to talk about this year, and I hope you all come and join me with those conversations. Elliot from MovieFiles, thank you all. Hope you're staying safe. Don't forget, you all are awesome. Nia DaCosta, you're awesome. This movie was pretty awesome. I'll see you guys in the next video.